Furitek Cayman Pro. Guys, I am super late to the game on this one. This is going to be a different video. There is no workbench set up talking about this forever. I'm just going to run the thing, okay? I'm going to talk about why I've had this as long or probably longer than anybody and really haven't put a video out on it. Mostly because for me, the gearing just felt pretty bad when I got this truck. And then first climb I tried to make with it, my servo died. This does come with a spring box servo. And I've ran that in a lot of other trucks with no issues. I think I just got a bad one on this truck. So I have swapped that out to the next speed servo. That spring box, it's an RTR servo. It's really, it's going to get you by. You're probably going to upgrade it eventually anyways. You'll see as far as other upgrades, all I've done to this is wheels and tires. Stock wheels and tires, we're all going to toss them. You know, I get people that say, well, a stock RTR video should be all stock. Okay, but we're going to take the wheels and tires and toss them. Nobody wants to sit here and watch this thing struggle for 10 minutes trying to go up the simplest climb because of the tires. So I just changed the tires out because I'm never going to run those, and most people are not. These are some of my favorite tires right here, still the Injora 64s, and they just work really well. But this truck, okay, we've got a lot of upgrades here. All aluminum axle housings, metal drive shafts, very nice rounded high clearance links. I really like the way these are kind of rounded off. They've got a nice clean edge to them. Same with the steering link, it's rounded well. The main issues I have with this is, one, the gearing. It's a little rough. Like, you'll notice I'm in and out of FOC a lot. It really struggles at times because it is a Cayman, okay? Cayman, very Cayman-like. SCX24 transmission, FCX axles. I kind of invented that, or started doing that a long time ago, and I really preferred it because the FCX axles are very strong. But now that we have better SCX24 axles like the Mofo X15s and ISO axles and stuff, I kind of just prefer to use SCX24 axles, overdrive them really high, and I can get my wheel speed that way, run a 3, even 4S battery, I'm good. And we get better steering angle and stuff. So I don't really do the Cayman much anymore with the FCX axles, SCX24 transmission. I just don't really run that much anymore. But this is a very good setup. These axles, they're all metal gears. You're all metal gears in this stellar transmission from Furitek. So everything in here is metal gears. The main thing that I see on this one is lots of play in the drive shafts here, front and rear. There's like lots of play there, and I mean, it's just kind of crazy. But they are metal, and I haven't had any issues yet. I haven't ran this much. We're getting ready to run it because I did have the issue with the servo, and the gearing felt, I don't know if it was, I mean, the gearing is tough for this setup, okay? So this is running the Lizard Pro all-in-one ESC receiver. It comes with one of these standard transmitters we get with most of these trucks now with the dip switches and stuff. Your dip switches do nothing, but you have Bluetooth on the ESC that you can connect to your phone and make all of your tuning and stuff. This doesn't come with this wheel, guys. I put this on here. It comes with the standard plastic one. Let's see what else. We've got plastic bodied shocks with the aluminum caps. These are oil-filled shocks. They seem to be very smooth and just work well. So that pretty much gets it on the parts, I guess. The chassis, very similar to the SZK, this entire truck. We've got lots of upper link mount options. Mine out of the box, the rear drive shaft was sticking way down. You can see it can actually be tweaked up a little bit more. But I moved my upper link like up and back one, I believe. And you can see it could still use a little more. But you've got a really nice breakover with those high clearance links. And I think it's a 6.5 or 7.5 degree angled skid. Lots of shock mount options and everything as well on this. So a very nicely upgraded truck. The sort of aluminum housings and stuff, that's a toss-up if that's an upgrade to you or not. For me, I would almost pay more for plastic. I like plastic housings when I can run them because I just feel like the plastic slides better, but these aren't going to be very strong. You're not going to really strip the screw holes out and that sort of thing. So they are an upgrade. Plus, like I said, we're getting all metal gears in here. We don't have to worry about any plastic gears. This does have a very nice looking body. I love the look of this thing, especially with these wheels and tires. It just looks really good. The magnets, they're good and strong. My only issue with them is sometimes I get in a bind and they just kind of do that number. When you push to the side, they like to pop off. So a lot of times I like to sort of flip these mounts, and if I can get these magnets on the body to kind of drop down inside a lip, they'll hold a little better. But the nice thing about this is you got to change the battery out in the field, just drop that on, you're ready to go. Super easy and nice and clean. So very good looking truck. Let's run it and just talk about it, because I did have to make a couple little changes to this. So one main change that I made to this, and I mean, maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I actually looked at I went to check to see if there was an update for this ESC, and it was up to date. So I just went back a version, and it seems to be a little bit better. I don't know why. I've played with throttle curve, I've played with FOC, I've played with everything, but you'll notice how it really just kind of struggles at times. You see how it's just kind of pausing along. It's really straining, and then it just goes. It's just kind of the gearing with these axles and this transmission. I really would just like to see us either go away from these hybrid builds and just put a really good SCX24 set of axles on it, or change up the gearing in the transmission or the axles or something to make this thing run better, because it is very sort of choppy and on off. See that? I'm not changing the throttle that much, and it just all of a sudden it breaks free and it's gone. So it makes it a little tough to be smooth at times. At times it's a little undrivable, just going to be honest about that. But this is a very capable truck. It has brass portal covers, inner and outer on the front and outers on the rear. It's balanced stock with stock wheels and tires and servo, 55 front, 45 rear. So it's set up pretty well. You can add a little more weight to the front. I've kind of already done that with that metal cased servo, which is a little bit high. You know, I try to get weight below the axle. And then just different wheels and tires. But overall, the thing seems to perform pretty well. You can see there it went downhill pretty good. Just gets in those tight spots sometimes, and it's a little tough to handle the throttle. But you can be smooth with this if you just take your time and go easy with it. You can see how it's kind of on, off, in and out of that FOC. Really a funky transition there because of this gearing. So that's where I would just rather see us make a change somewhere. I'm not feeling this non-stop in and out. So if you've drove the Cayman, you know how these things drive. This one seems to be a little more touchy, but honestly, I think it may just be because I've really not been driving the Caymans much lately. I've kind of went back to SCX24 axles like I mentioned. What I do with those now, because whoa, look at that. What I do with those axles now, because we have stronger ones that can handle it, is I overdrive them quite a bit. I will usually do like the mofo 30% or whatever in the front, a little less in the rear. I've even did the overdrive in the transmission with the LGRP transmission to gain even more wheel speed. And then I'll run 3 or 4S on them. And with the worm gears, you keep the nice, smooth, slow crawl, but you have the wheel speed that I was kind of looking for with this setup back in the day. You know, these axles, they're very sturdy, but I feel like now with the axles that we're getting with crazy turning angles, which these do not have, and just beefier, better SCX24 axles, I kind of like going that route. And I know it's kind of weird, like flip-flopping back and forth, but back when I really started putting these axles on everything, we didn't have a great SCX24 axle or shaft, you know. Really, I would snap dog bones. All of those CVDs were weak. I would break those, snap them off all the time. And now we've just kind of gotten tougher axles for those, and those are really some good axles for great control, you know. But I gotta say, this is one of the most planted RTRs I've ever ran. I mean, look at that. If you guys watch the channel much, you know this is a tough climb. Nothing really slow crawls that real well. And this thing's easing up it. And to be honest, this has like a lot of loose grass on it where I mowed yesterday. So it probably would have walked up that even easier. Come back right down it, no problem. There's really no torque twist there. Look at that. Like even when I get on it, you don't see either side raising. Driver's side maybe a little there when I really punch it. But that's pretty impressive how planted this thing stays. That's really good. I mean, unreal how good that is right there. These tires obviously have a lot to do with climbing, but the fact that the truck is staying planted, it's not really lifting either one of those front tires. Very, very impressive. It makes that climb look easy, backing down it, back up it. I mean, watch this, like, that's pretty impressive when you can just straight back down something and not even have to worry about what's gonna happen to the thing. Whew. Throttle is very touchy. This climb here is really tough. Nice, handled that really well. Overall, this truck drives great. Very, very impressed with it. I would like to maybe get one of the LGRP transmissions. See how it just kind of stalls? And then if you give it a little bit more, when it comes out of it, it's almost a little too much. Just kind of in and out of that transition there. But what I was going to say is I'd kind of like to put one of the LGRP transmissions with underdrive in this thing and see if it would help. Look at that. The thing crawls amazing though, besides that transition. It's just kind of in and out all the time. The main problem for me with these like highly upgraded RTRs is just we're getting some really good cheap RTRs right now, like the Redcat Ascent18 at $100, you know, the Hobbyplus Evo Pro. All these trucks, you know, 169, 179 bucks, you can get a really good RTR and then do the upgrades that you want, like the servo that I had to do to this already, the wheels and tires that you're going to do anyways, and you could be the same amount of money or even less depending on some of the components and have sort of your style of a build versus this, what they've chosen for us. So that's kind of up to you, you know. Do you want all of these components, or would you choose different, you know, axles or different housings or different whatever? And that's kind of what hurts these, in my opinion. These are really good for somebody who doesn't like to build a lot, I think, but you are going to have to get used to this throttle, no doubt. It is just a different beast driving a Cayman. But as you can see, I can be pretty smooth with it, and the truck's very capable, very well planted. Just there's a steep learning curve to it. There just really is. I absolutely love the way this thing drives, besides this in, out, in, out. If I could get the gearing a little better, this would be one of the best RTRs I've drove, no doubt. So I am just running this on a 2S right now, and it's got tons of wheel speed, as you can see there. It feels a little better, a little more under control on 2S to me than it did the 3S. So that's why I just kind of went with the 2S in it. And it's got plenty wheel speed, like I said. Let's see if we can drop off this. Oh, nope. Let's try it again. I was at a little bit of a wild angle there. See that sort of like shudder and shake we get? Nice. See if we got enough wheel speed here on 2S to sort of make this hop. No, not hardly. I just yanked the magnet out. So there's an absolute ton of value in this truck, because if you tried to go buy all of the upgrades that are on this thing, it's going to cost you a lot more. So you've got to consider, like, if these parts are really what you want, or even close to what you want, this is a great buy. I mean, obviously it's got, everything's upgraded basically. And like I said, if you tried to do that with your own truck, it doesn't matter how cheap of an RTR you start with. If you upgrade every single piece on it, you're going to be way in over the price of this thing. Now, if you're like me and you like to sort of build your own thing and having to sort out the links and the skid and make everything work, and maybe this is not exactly what you're going to pick for all of your components, then, you know, maybe a custom build is more suited for you. But look at how this thing, it is very capable. And once you get the hang of the throttle, I mean, it's not something you can't deal with. I'm not sure if I'm going to get this. Let's see. But you can be very smooth with it. You can see right there. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it's hanging that. Not many RTRs would just hang on like that. You really can't tell, but that's a crazy steep angle. Just sort of side hill, downhill at the same time. Very tough. That's where like flubs or the pine trees from Tony and the tires really help. I can tell, I know the rears have the Tony's inserts in them. You can just feel the difference. I think the fronts may be flubs though. Look at that. I cannot believe that has just held that line. Slow crawled down it. I mean, none of this stuff ever looks tough on video, but that's a very tough line. And that's where this thing, you know, it's already got the weight added, a little bit of weight in the rear with the outer portal covers and the weight in the front. It's balanced really well. It drives like great, besides that little bit of choppy throttle. It just performs. I mean, it really performs. So it's an amazing RTR with one little flaw, really, to me, and that's just kind of that gearing there, that whine. It really just kind of bugs me, and the way it lunges now and then. But look at the thing crawl. Absolutely insane. So if you try to build this, it's going to cost you a lot. If this is not what you would build, then go another route, you know. But if you're looking for a very, very good performing truck that's already brushless and, you know, maybe just needs wheels and tires and at some point a servo down the road, I would say probably, then this is a great buy. I do wish they would kind of sort the gearing a little or get this thing running just a little bit smoother, but man, you can tell right there with some good tires and good inserts, the thing crawls amazing. Like, I'm absolutely amazed by the lines this is pulling for an RTR, basically out of the box. And like I said, obviously, yes, I did change wheels and tires, but that is something we're all gonna do. So I don't even really consider that a mod. I don't even really have to be easy with it. Just go. It's just gonna kill the line no matter what. So you guys tell me, what do you think about this little truck? You know, for me, it's a very solid performing truck. It just has that little throttle glitch. If you can get used to that and it doesn't bother you, then this is a great buy. If these are not the components for you, you know, go your own way. You guys tell me, do you prefer to build from scratch or buy something that's basically done like this? You know, I like to build from scratch a lot, but it does get very expensive quick, depending on what you choose for your build. So something like this does have that value, especially for somebody who doesn't want to deal with finding the pieces to put together, you know, links that will work and skid that will work. Because this, running an SCX24 transmission with the FCX axles and links, you do have to play with your two different hardwares there and trying to make things work, and it can be tricky and be a little bit of a pain. So this is a great option for somebody that don't want to sort all that out and figure it out. So you guys let me know what you think about it. I will link this truck in the description. I think it's just a pre-order through Furitek. I have nothing to do with that. I get $0 from anything Furitek sold. So if you like it, buy it. If you don't, it really doesn't matter to me. I'm just here to point out the pros and the cons. And to me, the main con with this is the throttle and possibly servo at some point. I've ran the Springbok in lots of different trucks and it's been fine for a good long while. It's not amazing, it's an RTR servo, but it will definitely get you by, and it's stronger than most RTR servos, you know, like SCX24 and stuff. Those are absolutely terrible. So I feel like you'll be fine with it for a pretty good while, but you may want to consider upgrading that. Definitely gonna want wheels and tires. Oh, I blew it, come on. It can do that, I know it can. This thing's balanced well enough. But that's really all you're gonna need for this thing. So it is a great value. You guys tell me what you think about it. I'm gonna show you the battery I'm running in here because it's a great fit for this truck. It's a little small 2S that fits well. And this does run the same plug as like the SCX24 batteries. So you need a good small battery that will plug straight in. Let's see if I can get this. Oh, man, I gave it too much. Whoa. Let's see right here. This is where you gotta be clean. That front's gonna drop in that dip. If I can do it easy enough, see that? I mean, once you get the hang of that throttle, you can be crazy smooth. Unreal. That's hard to come down like really slow. If you guys watch, a lot of times I kind of just launch down it because it is a little tough. Let me show you this battery real quick, and I'll link it in the description for you guys. But this little G&B, I believe it is. I have another one here. This is it. But I just wanted to show you how well it fits in here. And these do have a very short lead on them. So some trucks it doesn't work well. But for this, you can see it plugs straight in. You don't need an adapter or anything. So I'll link that in the description. You guys tell me what you think about this. I appreciate you sticking around. Peace.